should we just get the usual housekeeping out of the way?
Yeah.
In terms of coming through the game on Saturday, God, a long time ago, are you all okay, fit, healthy? It's the bruising encounter, wasn't it?
Yeah, very, very bruising. The intensity was at grand final level, and as hard as I've seen involved with the sport over here in Super League. So very physical, and but on our side of things, everyone seems to have gotten through. Obviously, a suspension to Edwin Apape for 1 week, but off the top of that, in regards to the team adding to the squad for this week, Joe Wardle will come into consideration. So that's just the addition to all of that.
How good is it to have Joe back? Because you've been relatively healthy this year, haven't you? But Joe's obviously missed a little bit of time.
Yeah, Joe in the 2022 season was unbelievable for us, and one of my favourite players really in regards to just the way that he carries himself and the intent that he has as a player and a professional for that matter. You know, I'm grateful that he's back. He's missed the whole season and has hardly played. So he's certainly an addition to us in the sense of experience and playing in the bigger games and another body. You know, we've got the smaller squad in Super League, so this time of the year is always telling, and you know, with the semi-finals and the extra games you have to play as well. The timing of his returns is outstanding.
Sorry, I'm on mute. You have a small squad. There's no secret about that. How important is it that you get your prep right in the next 2 weeks in terms of managing workloads, but also there's no getting away from the fact you've got some important games coming up that you'd ideally like to win as well?
Yeah, I think 8 games to go. Got a visit to Wembley in 3 weeks. It's certainly a position that a club dreamed about at the start of the year, and what we've done really well is manage the load on a week-to-week basis, considering the size of the squad that we have. In my opinion, I think that's one of the highlights of the season for me. But it is a real difficult time of the year, not only for our club but for everyone. We're in the middle of a 6-week away from home period where we're not playing games at home. So we're 4 wins out of 5 with that. We've got this one away at Wigan, and then obviously Leeds away, and then KR away, Hull KR away. So our next home game isn't until Catalan at home. But yeah, it is a really difficult period, and one that we've got some goals set around. So, you know, I think the experience of the players that I've got in my squad can manage these times. But more importantly, you know, we've got a massive game against Wigan this week. We've got a more or less a full squad. Obviously, Ricky Latelli is out long term now, which we've got that finalised as well. So, you know, that's sad for the club and for him and our fans and his family. So we'll just keep powering on.
Just on Ricky, what is the exact prognosis?
Yeah, Ricky's got some issues with his vertebrae and bruising of his spinal cord, so he'll need an operation for that. So that could be anywhere from 4 months onwards. So it's unfortunate for us with him, but you know, he's been a massive part of the success of the club and the team this year, and we'll miss him dearly. But like we've done with the likes of, say, Kai O'Donnell, who's still 1 week away to finalise his 6-week suspension. You know, we've just got on with it. So Joe Wardle coming back, as I mentioned, is timing of that is good, and we're going to miss Ricky, but he's there or thereabouts in every session.
How have the group rallied around Ricky? Because you never want an injury, never mind at a time when you're looking at Wembley, when you're potentially looking at playoffs. Who knows beyond that? It must be a real sickener for him.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. And like I said, he's played a massive part of where we are on the ladder at the moment. Very popular member of the team and squad. And it's times like this where it's a difficult injury to have, because when he's walking around doing nothing, he feels like he can play. So obviously we've done all the checks and scans, and it's just to make sure that the welfare of the player is what we take care of, and his health and his family. So as a coach and a club, we put clarity to all the players and make them understand what the exact situation is with that, so we can move forward. But Ricky will play a part with us. I'm not sure whether that operation will be. It'll probably be in the next 10 days. So we'll get that done, and then, you know, have Ricky there to support us and maybe sit up at the box with me and watch the rest of the season unfold.
I know that everyone likes to talk about the narrative of being a new team to Super League this year, but you do have a lot of experience and a lot of players that have had success as well. Have you been impressed by the mentality of the group in the immediate aftermath of the semi, and obviously the messages that have been given out since in terms of what needs to be done between now and then?
Yeah, good question. I think one of the things that Chris Chester and I looked at heavily last year in the recruitment side of things was to bring in some experience to make sure that we could get through this season in good shape, and then have a plan on how those players shuffle in and shuffle out over the next 3 or 4 years on a 5-year plan. So what we do have here is, before the dressing room on St Helens game, I put up on the screen all of the players that had played big games, and we've got some players that have got a lot of experience and that have won big matches. So we certainly don't fall short in that area. But we've also got players that Super League hadn't seen before, such as the Kai O'Donnells that haven't played for a while, Edwin Apapes, Lachie Lamb playing in this competition, Ed Chamberlain now filling in on that left centre and left back row spot, and the list goes on. We've got players that were outcasts at their clubs, such as Charnley, Hughes, O'Brien, Holmes. It just goes on and on. So it's a real nice story when you look at the journey for our club this year, the Leopards, and we're not finished yet. I think the way that we hung in there and against St Helens in that semi-final, I think we would have earned a bit of respect from a lot of the fans throughout not only the UK but the world. And I think from that you can see that they're a close-knit bunch of men who care about each other. So that's the secret, in my opinion, with being successful. And we've got a lot of work yet to do, and we've got to keep our feet grounded, as I keep saying, and keep working hard. But I think our team's still got 1 or 2 levels to go to, which we're working hard on trying to get to be better for this back end of the season.
The question that everyone wants answering, of course, is will you be wearing leopard print suits to Wembley?
I'm not going to let that information out of the bag, but I won't be. But there will be some sort of leopard touch to everything that we've got there. So, and it's pretty exciting, really. It's different, but very, very exciting for everyone involved. Everyone involved.
I don't think you've been asked about this since the comments that came out in Australia from one of John Asiata's representatives about it potentially being time for him to go home. I know Derek's been very vocal about that on social media. I just wondered what your response, your reaction was to all of that.
Yeah, I'm not going to put £1 million on it, but I know John is contracted to us for the 2024 season. John's our captain. John is happy as anything here. I've had a conversation. I talk with him every day, and he loves it where he is at the moment. He has no intention of going home. I think this is where he really fits in well. He's certainly helped create the DNA of a team here. And what I will say, I'm not going to answer any other questions about the incident that's happened this week through social media, but John's character is second to none as a person. I've followed John. I've watched John try to recruit him to the Roosters when he was a teenage boy. I've watched him as a player and as a person, as a family man. There is no better person in this world than him in all of his morals and the way that he plays his game. He has no intention to ever hurt anyone. He's a great leader. He's what this club is all about, and certainly going to take us forward into the future with his leadership and his captaincy moving forward.
Just very finally from me, completely respect your request not to make any comment on what's been said in the last 24 hours. I was just wondering, is the club planning, do they have a timeline or any intent to at some point respond to what's gone on with the Paul Wellens comments?
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that, Matt. At the moment, for me as coach, we've got a clash against one of our neighbours, our arch rivals, to go 4 points clear or equal second. So for me, I've stepped back away from that this week. As important as John is to me as a coach, and he's important to the players and this whole community, it'll be handed over to the top level to deal with. So for me, it's just about making sure that we've got a really difficult period as a club. We've just won one of our biggest games that we've won in the history of our club. We're going away to play our arch rivals to hold second spot. We've got to get our game improved for 3 weeks when we play Hull KR at possibly the biggest game of this club in the last 100 years of its existence. So, and then we've got, after that World Club Challenge, we could potentially be playing Catalan at home, not World Club Challenge, Challenge Cup. We could be playing Catalan at home to go equal first if we get it right. So that's what's ahead of us in the next 4 weeks. So as much as there is innuendo and speculation and everything else around that other stuff, for me it's about sticking to my job as coach and just focusing on that.
Brilliant. Thank you, Adrian. Appreciate it.
Hiya, Adrian. It's Gary. All right?
Hey, Gary. Good. You okay?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Just one for me. As Leah's sort of more successful at being second in the league and reaching the cup final and everything, there'll inevitably be more talk surrounding the club, maybe from outside the club as well. Do you tell the players to embrace all that talk about the club, or do you tell them to ignore it?
We set some goals at the early start of the season, Gary, and that was about making sure that we stayed within our bubble. There was perceptions about us as a club in the past. There was talk about, Lee being part of the, battle for relegation. The last 2 or 3 times they've come up, they've gone down. We had a meeting and brought up all of these situations and all of the scenarios that could happen. And the only thing that we agreed on one thing collectively as a group, and that was that if we perform to our best of our ability, if we learn and improve each other every week on this journey, and absolutely unload on 80 minutes on the weekend, on every week of the games of each round of Super League, and with that we grew as a team during the season, that's all we could take care of. And by doing that, the table would take care of itself. And I think that's been quite a fair judgment of who we've been this year. We haven't really looked outside or asked for help outside. We've kept within our bubble. It's a really important time coming up with, this town of ours hasn't had too much to cheer about for a long time. And, we in regards to the Challenge Cup, we want to know how people are feeling, but, those people can't help us. But we will put them in as piece of the puzzle towards our emotional side and make sure we take them along with us. There's a lot of fans going crazy within town here. It's gone absolutely out of control. So we're excited about that, but what we can control is our 80-minute performance, the same theme as the rest of this year. So, we'll take the best wishes and messages, and we'll certainly help fuel the fire within and get ready for the big game in a couple of weeks.
So you're embracing the whole concept of being talked about because you do so well. Yeah,
it's what we've achieved. I think we've got what we've deserved so far this year, and that's not being cocky or arrogant. It's just being honest, and that's what we've been about. Just being a team that's been honest on every performance this year. I think we've been in every game at some stage, and I know that if we beat Lee on this weekend, next weekend, the weekend after, that we're going to give ourselves a chance to win in every game.
Cheers, Adrian. Much appreciated.
Thanks,
Thank you.
No worries. Anybody else?
Hi, Adrian. How you doing?
Hey, mate. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
It's been a while since I've seen you on here as well.
Hello,
good to have you back, mate.
Obviously, Wigan Warriors got a great history of rugby league. Maybe Warriors have taken most of the headlines in that time. Do you feel a bit like the noisy neighbours now?
I just feel like that the town's got something to wake up to in the morning and support and be happy about and to love life and rugby league. So obviously Wigan is our neighbour that's had some great success over a long period of time, and it's a club that we love playing, especially in this local derby. So they're only 2 points behind us on the ladder. It's a massive game for them. They'll be disappointed and wanting wanting to see a change of attitude towards this game. So it's going to be pretty tough, like a semi-final feel to this game as well. So, I know hopefully there's a big crowd there and we can get on with playing rugby.
Obviously, we saw back in March what it means to the fans. Can you feel this rivalry getting bigger and bigger? Is that a big impact of how you've played and the style of rugby you're playing?
Yeah, I'd hope so. I'm hoping, like I just mentioned to Matt before, that I think we've had 6 games away from home before the time we get back to playing our first game here, and hopefully We've got 4 home games to finish at the end. Hopefully we can fill the stadium out in those 4 games, which would be a real great reward financially for the owner, Derek, but more importantly, the support behind the team and to show them that they got our backs. So I think they've had a lot to cheer about lately. I know that crowd at the back of on the north stand, I might have been at Warrington on the weekend. That noise that they created, that feeling that was there in the air, it was unbelievable. And the goosebumps, I mean, they're coming up in my arms now thinking about it. Just the way that they sung there, it's a moment that, the players, the coaching staff, the owner, Derek, everyone involved, including the fans, will never forget for the rest of their lives. I think it's certainly a moment that we'll remember forever. But having said that, we haven't won anything yet. We've got to just make sure we keep working hard and we've given ourselves a chance now with 80 minutes away from that trophy. So we've got to keep improving and make sure we give our best go when we get there.
Where does this current sort of journey rank in your career? And how much does it mean, obviously, the rebrand of the season, all the things happening off the field that you delivered off it? How proud are you to be a part of this new era?
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. Unbelievable. Like a movie, really. It's been just an incredible journey because I was heading back to the NRL after the Wigan coaching there, only for Chris Chester to ring me up right at the last second to say, look, would you come? And I was like, probably not. But I remember leaving that meeting and saying to Chris, there's 2 boys, whether I come or not, there's 2 boys playing in championship that Lee should probably buy to help you out, just so you know. And 2 days later, it came out in the media that Lee had signed those 2 players, and it just made me completely stop and think, oh my God, if we can bring in the players that I think can make us successful, this might be able to work for us. So that's what hooked me up there, hook, line and sinker to come to Lee. And since that time, I think just my relationship with, Chris Chester, the director of rugby, the owner, Derek Beaumont and Neil Jukes, has been, second to none and a time that I'll forever be grateful for.
The area must have something special to you, seeing that I know when you was Wigan coach, you stayed maybe longer than you originally planned and then went to stay in. So you must have something you can't escape.
My mother's a Scouser, so maybe she's from Liverpool, so maybe it's the blood that's running in there a little bit. But no, I'm truly loving my time here at the moment. I think in regards to a 5-year plan here, our retention and recruitment has been spot on this year up until now. I know we'll release the players that we've re-signed and all bringing in from the outside, which will certainly make us a better club hopefully next year, and we've just got to keep building over the next couple of years. But for now, the people, the players, the staff that are involved with this club are unbelievable people and certainly made life and coaching and rugby league a joy.
And just follow on from me, what's it going to be like returning to the DW, just walking through the doors again and different changing room? Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I played over 100 games there as a player. I've coached there for 3 years, I think it was in the end, and I have memories there that I will forever be grateful for. I won a Challenge Cup there. I lost the Challenge Cup. I lost 2 grand finals, I think it was, and then one as a coach. I lost there as a grand final too. So I've got some memories there, and I don't easily forget. I might get booed or whatever they've got the dish out there. I'm okay with that. I'm in a really good place and grateful for the opportunity that I've had to be there as a player and a coach.
Cheers, Adrian. Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Hi, Adrian.
Hey, mate. How are you?
Yeah, great, thanks. Yeah, thanks for your time.
That's okay.
Just picking on what you were saying earlier about the fans going crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, how easy is it for you to avoid that, or do you like to try to take in a little bit of it and not too much? You seem to be doing a good job of sort of portraying it as business as usual, but I suppose you want to savour these moments as well, don't you?
Yeah, just we've had an amazing crowd travel for us for away games. Like I said, we've had 6 away in a row when it's all done, and just the support that we've had for us has been a real highlight for the season. I know when everything's done at the end of the year and we look back over it, it'll certainly be one of the highlights. So I want to thank them. That whoever was there at that ground at Warrington on the weekend to experience that semi-final and the toughness of it and the closeness of it and the outcome of it, especially in our favour, I think they'll remember that for the rest of their lives. It just echoed through the whole stadium when everyone was singing whatever song they were singing, and right at the end there when we were walking down, I was just looking around thinking, this is so surreal. I can't believe that it's happening, and very thankful for their fans. That they've been awesome, and I know that they'll enjoy now the next 3 weeks being able to probably sing. No doubt they'll sing on the weekend that whatever will be will be. We're going to they'll sing that, and they'll have that pride of being able to talk about it, that they're going to Wembley. So I'm happy for them.
And just generally, how good do you think it is for the game on this side of the world to have two different teams, going to Wembley for the cup final? Because one of the criticisms often is it's the same few teams that tend to win all the major prizes.
Yeah, look, I think that I'm a big believer that the Lee Leopards being in the Super League competition this year has certainly brought some exposure to the competition. It's not the normal come up, that team's automatically relegated, so there's been a change there. There's been battles on at the bottom of the table to try and stay up. There's brought a lot of interest. Derek's brought a new level to the entertainment side of coming to the rugby here at LSV, and I think the two new teams, I think Hull KR haven't been there since the early 80s, 80, 81, and the last time we won it was in 71. So I think that's great for the game, regardless of who you support. I think it's always great for the game to get exposure in different ways. And for those fans that have supported their clubs ever so passionately over such a long period of time, for them to have the opportunity to be there, again, brings more people to the game on a weekly basis. So, we're looking forward to it. We'll play our part, and I know Hull KL will play their part to that big game, and I'm sure a lot of other fans will be there supporting which team they need to.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Hi, Lammy. Alex from Radio Manchester.
Hey, Alex.
How you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you? All right?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you, mate. Just one from me on how you're going to stop French and Fields this Saturday. So they sort of ran a bit ragged reverse fixture. So how you plan to stop them?
Yeah, I think the last time we played as a club, we were a completely different team as what we are now. But having said that, I think they are as well. They're two really key players for Wigan, and I'm sure every club has a game plan to stop them, which they haven't been able to do. But having said that, I think we can make sure that if we play a particular style and focus on certain areas, that we can contain them, and we'll hopefully contain them and make sure that if we do that, I'm sure it'll put us in a good position to win the game.
And on Wigan, what have you made of their season so far?
Yeah, I haven't really been bothered about them, to be honest. It's been about us. So, I know they've got a couple of injuries. They've recruited quite heavily, but for me, it's been making sure that the Leopards are a team that we want to be and desire to be. We're 8 games away from the end of season finals, and we're sitting in outright second spot, and we're going to Wembley. Everyone's been working hard on making sure we look after our backyard first. I think that's been the key for us, so we'll just maintain to keep doing that.
Great, cheers. Thank you, mate.
All good, guys? Is that it?
Yeah, it's good for me. Thank you.